We're going to check out the final injury report for the Broncos and the 49ers before NFL Week 3 Sunday Night Football from Mile High. But first, if you are looking for a Broncos YouTube channel this entire season that's going to keep you up to date with injury news, general news and rumors and all that good stuff, plus one of the fastest growing Broncos YouTube communities out there, you found the right spot. Let's ride and subscribe. What's going on, Broncos country? Welcome into the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. Hope everyone is having a nice Friday afternoon, getting themselves ready for a jam-packed football weekend. Good college slate and a great Sunday slate. NFL's king. Every Sunday is awesome. But on today's show, we're going to go through the entire injury report for the Broncos. It's long, so get a pen and paper out or take a picture because a lot of names on the list. We'll go through everyone. I'll tell you who I think is going to play and is probably not going to end up suiting up this Sunday night against the Niners. So, 10 guys are questionable for this Sunday Night Football matchup. We'll start on offense. KJ Hamler with the knee. He is just recovering still from last year's injury. He did not play week 2 against the Texans. He has practiced this entire week. That's a very good sign he's ready to go. Jerry Jeudy will expand on more in just a second, but Tyrie working himself back from a hamstring injury. The Broncos need at least one of these guys back, or else it's going to be Courtland Sutton and then Moneyball, 50 feet of crap, kind of. Billy Turner, Quinn Meinerz on the offensive line we'll look at later on. Dre'Mont Jones, he popped up middle of the week with a neck injury. Him and Mike Purcell should be good to go, but that's not a guarantee. Jonathon Cooper, he's got a hamstring injury that might keep him out of Sunday, which could open up an opportunity for Nick Bonitto, the Denver Broncos' 64th selection in this past draft class, to make his Broncos debut. Josey, Jewell, we have not seen yet this regular season. There is optimism he will play. And then Patrick Surtain, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. He was limited in practice. We'll tell you more about him throughout the video. But let's start with Jerry Jeudy, and then we'll work our way down the list. So Jeudy today after practice said, if I feel the same way on Sunday that I'm feeling right now, I should be good to go. He said he feels good, and there's a good reason to believe Jerry Jeudy will play, barring in pregame warm-ups, he just goes out there, tests it, and maybe he tweaks something, he pulls something, and he decides, nope, shut it down. We're not going to force this today. All right, as for KJ Hamler, George Stoa tweeting out, KJ Hamler tells me he does expect to play Sunday versus the 49ers. Says he had a good week of practice and feels great. That is fantastic news. I don't only want to see KJ Hamler play. I want to see him look like the second-round pick. I want to see him look like this Tyler Lockett mini we've been talking about this entire offseason. Hopefully he can really make an impact on the game and not just be a feel-good story of, yay, Hamler took a snap. He's had a long road from where his injury was last year, and that was a very serious injury. But hopefully Hamler, I'm sure for his own sake, he can get back to really contributing to this team. So here's what the wide receiver room looks like right now. If there is no Jerry Jeudy, it would be Courtland Sutton, KJ Hamler, Montrell Washington, maybe the UDFA, Jalen Virgil, who has been an inactive player through 2 weeks, makes his debut if Tyrie or Jeudy cannot go. Guessing the Broncos will have 5 active receivers on Sunday, so that is something to keep an eye on right there. Now, I want to throw this question your way. Who do you want to see return the most? I'll open it up to Tim Patrick and Justin Simmons, right? Not just the current list of players who are questionable, but who do you wish was on the field the most right now this Sunday that is just unfortunately been bitten by this horrible injury bug that has plagued the Broncos? All right, let's move on to another big name, Patrick Surtain II. He was limited in practice this week, but there is optimism that he will play Sunday. Very good sign right there because the Niners have some weapons like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. And outside of Ronald Darby, Damari Mathis played well in week 2. But I don't know if I'm ready to jump into, let's throw Damari Mathis on Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel for some plays. So if there is no Patrick Surtain, it'll be Darby. K'Wan Williams, he's going to play, by the way. Darius Phillips, he is out. So the Broncos are a little thin at corner right now. They really need to see PS2 out there. So this is what I was talking about when we mentioned the Jonathan Cooper injury. An idea, well, not an idea, but a possibility of Nick Bonitto suiting up for the Broncos, who was inactive last week. He suited up week 1 against the Seahawks, but never took a snap. So he's been waiting his turn, but he had a pretty interesting quote I think you all should see. Here's what he said. Just be patient and keep working. Keep working on defense, special teams, being better. Grind in that weight room with Lando, get bigger and stronger, things of that nature. Nick Bonitto is not the first edge rusher for the Broncos to be redshirted, so on. You know what I mean? Shaq Barrett, if you remember, he was on the practice squad his entire rookie season. Elvis Dumervil was inactive a lot his rookie year. Both of those guys would go on to lead the NFL in sacks different seasons. So it's not a panic button that the Broncos' second-round pick has not played yet. There's a lot of depth. Randy Gregory, Bradley Chubb, Baron Browning, and Jonathan Cooper are all pretty well-established guys so far in the league. Now, before we get to the rest of the injury news, we've got an awesome deal right now at Fanatics. If you want to get a Denver Broncos hoodie now before it gets a little chilly, it's fall season, baby, and you do not want to be the guy who's still wearing a short-sleeve t-shirt at Mile High in October where the wind is blowing and all of a sudden you're getting a little, diamonds on your nips. So head on over, chatsports.com/DEN hoodie. I got that link in the comments and the description. You don't have to memorize it, but it's chatsports.com/DEN hoodie to get this awesome polo from Fanatics. Let's move on to the Hogs up front, the Broncos offensive line, which unfortunately has been banged up to start the season. Quinn Meinerz went down in week 1. The Broncos did not put him on IR, which was a sign of we believe he will be back in less than 4 games. He missed 1 game, week 2. Now there's already optimism he could be returning sooner. But first, Billy Turner, the guy we all thought was going to be this team's starting right tackle, and we've all been waiting to see. Now here's the good but bad news. He was a full participant during Wednesday's practice, but then he was limited on Thursday and Friday. I'm not saying to read into that too much and saying, hey, the fact that he went from full to limited means he's not going to play. Sometimes you see rest given to veteran players, so it's not the end-all, be-all, but it's not ideal, especially because we've seen Billy Turner be a full participant in practice for a couple of weeks now at this point, and it still is not translated into him playing on Sunday. Now, Quinn Meinerz, on the other hand, like I said, he was dealing with a hamstring injury, or has been, and was not put on IR, which was a sign from Payton and Hackett of, we think he'll be back sooner rather than later. He did not participate on practice during Wednesday, but he was limited on Thursday and Friday. If Meinerz cannot go, it'll be the veteran backup Graham Glasgow starting at his spot at right guard. Moving on to the linebacker room here, Jonas Griffith and Alex Singleton have been holding down the fort while Josey Jewell has been out with a calf injury, but calf injuries are not going to hold back Jewell forever because there is some belief that he could be ready to go for Sunday Night Football this week, which then begs the question, so when Josey Jewell returns, is he going to get his old starting spot back, or are they going to keep it with Jonas Griffith and Alex Singleton? Singleton's the guy who stepped up and has been the best linebacker, funny enough, since Josey Jewell went down. And Nathaniel Hackett has recognized that. Here's what he said on Alex Singleton. Didn't skip a beat when he stepped in this year and has played really well. So Hackett's going to have a tough decision to make. Does he want to go with his original 2 starters, Jewell and Griffith? Or does he want to keep the best linebacker of the 3 so far on the field in Alex Singleton? I'm thinking he's going to go Jewell and Singleton. It's not that Griffith has been bad. He just hasn't been good as Singleton. And none of these guys are household off-ball linebackers that are going to hold on to their spot forever. They're not Bobby Wagner or Roquan Smith or Fred Warner. So I'm guessing it's going to be Jewell and Singleton, but that's going to be an interesting decision for Hackett to make. Now, as for the San Francisco 49ers, they're pretty healthy coming into this game. They are missing some key guys, for example, like Elijah Mitchell, their running back, but he was put on IR just a little bit ago, so that's not new information. But Eric Armstead, their starting defensive tackle, one of their best havoc wreakers on the front line for the Niners, he's been dealing with a foot injury and has not practiced all week. So there was initial belief that he would be ready to go by Sunday. Not practicing, not a good sign. As for George Kittle, he has yet to play this season, been dealing with a lingering groin issue. Kyle Shanahan said he would be surprised if George Kittle does not play this Sunday. So expect to see Kittle against the Broncos, which hopefully it goes better than how the tight end matchup went week 1 against the Seahawks, because if Will Dissly was going to do that to the Denver Broncos defense, Kittle's going to do a whole lot worse. Now, before we send you guys on your way to enjoy your Friday night and the rest of your weekend, predict the score for me one last time before we get to kickoff Sunday night. Who you got and by how much? I got to be honest with you guys. I'm not feeling the Broncos in this one. Got to be straightforward here. Can't have a Denver Broncos going 17-0. I think the Niners probably pull this one out, something like 27-20. Would love to be proven wrong, but that's my gut right there. Appreciate all of you guys for clicking on to today's show and making us a part of your day.